Greetings, everyone. Tonight, the Sylvania Busch Light Series takes to Riki Raceway, which is a very exciting super speedway track. And we're going to get going here with the starting grid for tonight. So starting on the front row is James Fireball Robert II and Gavin Legend, followed by James King and Nathan Morgan. Then you got Jack Davis and Trevor Walker. Today's part-time entry, Brian DeBlanc and Luis Rodriguez. Behind them is Al Bunch and Kellen Oakley. Adam Gerbeforian and Jordan Walker. Lynn Farrell and Atlee Weiss. Riley Sorrell, Tracy and Ethan Creech. Santi Messi and Tayden Berggren. Clarence Bonner and Kat Durham. Zach Armstrong and Logan Nagy. Tyler Landa and Matthew Fastnot. Adam Starr and John Brinker. Braden Hunt and Josh Harrison. Nadaka Gum and Tom Cording. Mike Bliss Jr. and Bella Fawn. Justin Patrick and Lucas Holmes with Craig Busch at the back of the field. James Fireball Robert has definitely been on fire as of late. And with super speedway racing, the field doesn't mean a whole lot. These guys at the back might be at the front before you know it.
Start your engines!
Nice long day. We're right here to support you. Get the best we can. Get a good finish out.
Most people may not know much about Riki Raceway. You'll definitely get to learn a lot about it tonight, as this is one of the crazier super speedways that I've ever found in NR 2003. They get going here, and Fireball Roberts out to the early lead. Gavin Legend stuck on that high sides, dropping back a little bit. 134 laps here definitely will be quite a race. Should go by pretty quickly at the super speedway pace, but regardless, it'll still be a pretty lengthy race here for a 2.25 mile track. Brian DeBlanc up on the inside there, moving his way into fourth. Al Bunch right behind him, who's been on a hot tear in the series. He's had 5 wins in the last 6 races attempted, so pretty stellar for Al Bunch there. Brian DeBlanc just recently acquired his full position as a truck owner in the USA Truck Series. And one thing you might notice here is it's an experimental car here in the Busch Series. He's driving an Audi, which has never been contested in any of the NSSR family of racing. So first laps turn in the Busch Light Series here for Audi, with a potential plan to move up into Cup within the next year or so. This is kind of testing the waters to see how well the Audi performs performance-wise amongst the rest of the cars in the series. So definitely the Busch Light Series does not have as big of a manufacturer draw as the Cup Series. It's only out there competing against the Ford, Chevy, Dodge, and Toyota. Pretty good input here so far as he's running at the front of the field. Some new faces at the front leading laps, as you see right there, Riley Sorrell Tracy taking the lead. Has had a struggle of things in the series. Even Santi Messi there is a fill-in driver for Brandon Petrolski. Doing pretty good running in second. And you gotta give credit to Zach Armstrong there, moving his way into the top 5. Things getting a little bit interesting for the lead here as Brian DeBlanc pushes it 3 wide for Santi Messi there. This keeps Brian DeBlanc on the outside lane without a chance to move on to the inside. And look at that, Al Bunch worked his way up to second here. And that's Tyler Land up to third. Jack Davis in the top 10 there, as well as Trevor Walker and Luis Rodriguez. Actually, the brothers Walker, you got Jordan Walker just a little bit further behind him even. And nothing new here as Al Bunch is at the front of the field, leading laps in the Busch Light Series. Seems to be hard for anyone to beat Al Bunch in this series. It's like a light switch got shifted all of a sudden for Al Bunch after struggling all of 2022 and ending the season with a four race win streak. He has not looked back ever since. He's just on a tear in this series. And almost solidifies a guaranteed ride in the Cup Series before you know it. Sounds like Trevor Walker is potentially trying to help Al Bunch secure that ride. More details to come in the next couple weeks, but that could even put Al Bunch as a full-time Cup contender. The only caveat would be that he would have to pull his right to run for the championship here in the Busch Light Series. So, as you can't be a full-time contender in Busch and Cup, he would have to commit full-time to Cup versus full-time to Busch. Some people might find that as an opportunity to try and win this Busch Series if Al Bunch isn't part of it. So he's going to have to make that decision if he wants to keep up with his limited part-time schedule. He can still run full-time here in Busch, but if he converted right over to a full-time Cup ride, it's gonna cost him some very needed experience in the Busch Series, perhaps. You give credit, Atlee Weiss in the lead for a minute there, as Clarence Bonner looking to make a pass to get back by him. Then you even got Lucas Holmes. This is actually quite surprising as we have not seen a wreck yet in the early running of this one. Riki Raceway often lends itself to some spectacular crashes. And to have made it this far through the early running of the race at Riki without a wreck is pretty crazy, actually. So they're remaining civilized and keeping it going forward. In the early running of this one, it only lap 13 so far. And we do have a caution. Caution must have been a pretty small wreck as most of the cars are still running. As you can see here, they're 4 wide exiting turn 4. The 2 of Riley Sorrell Tracy hooks the 34 of Belafon. She misses the inside barrier there. In the meantime, the 2 car comes back out on track, collecting the 35 of Santi Messi and the 54 of Justin Patrick. Unfortunately for Belafon, the grass was not going to slow her down enough, as that car slides right back out into the front stretch wall there. Minimal damage, only about 3 cars involved. Santi Messi likely will be out of the race after that damage. We'll have to see here who comes out with the pit strategy in front. Looks like John Brinker's going to come out with the lead, perhaps. And yeah, so if you notice, there's kind of an interesting design on this track. Our pit road exit has a banked corner on the inside of the track to get you back onto the main track. It's very fascinating, one-of-a-kind design that you won't see anywhere else. So out of the race is the 54 of Justin Patrick, the 35 of Santi Messi, the 2 of Riley Sorrell Tracy, and the 34 of Belafon. Currently leading is John Brinker over Taden Berggren, Nathan Morgan, Nadak Hagum, nice, up to 4th. That's a crazy one. 5th is Mike Bliss Jr., then you got Kellen Oakley, Ethan Creech, Craig Busch, who had started at the very back of the field, has worked his way up to 8th so far. Fireball Robert and Braden Hunt. They're going to double up here in a minute, and the pace car will be pulling around to pull back onto pit road as we'll be getting back to racing here on lap 19. What we've seen at other tracks this year so far is the outside line seems to be the place to be. It'll be interesting to see here at Riki Raceway whether it's the inside or the outside that has the better start here. Willing to wager it's probably going to be the inside line. At the way this track's laid out, they'll be right into turn 1 before you know it. And I'm thinking Taden's going to be stuck high and get shuffled to the back here. As you can see, Brinker's going to get a run now on the back of the front stretch here. And I am incorrect, as Taden actually makes that work from the outside. So maybe another track where the outside starting lane is where you want to be on a restart. Nathan Morgan has been a big surprise here in the Sylvania Busch Light Series. He is currently our 3rd place driver on the points tally, right behind Al Bunch and James Robert. And just so happens that James Robert's not too far behind him there. Al Bunch got shuffled way out. Looks like he's about 23rd or so back there. That pit stop did not give him much favors. So now he's going to be stuck in the dirty air with potential wrecks that could happen around him. Taden's leading some laps here in the Busch Series. Doing good, holding off the hard charge there from James Robert. Lucas Holmes, Clarence Bonner, and then Joshua Harrison. So you got the 2 team cars there running nose to tail. Oh, and our top 2 in the points are involved in a huge wreck here. Fireball Robert took a lot of damage. This takes out a huge chunk of the field. As we can see, the 79 is on the high side. He clips the 99 of Clarence Bonner. This also collects Nathan Morgan and Braden Hunt. Back up into Jack Davis. As you can see, Braden Hunt gets turned hard back into the outer wall there. Even Al Bunch was not able to avoid this one. We're going to have to find as many angles on this as possible. I don't know who's going to make it out of this wreck. This is definitely the big one. And this is where super speedway races really do take the cake for being a wild card. As you know, there's a bunch of drivers out now that are probably not going to finish the race. So it all starts here when the three of those get connected. Trevor Walker gets into it, Brian DeBlank, Gavin Legend gets turned, Adam Starr, John Brinker, Ethan Creech, Adam Gerberian, Kat Durham, Zach Armstrong, Al Bunch, Tyler Landa, got our drone cam here. Get an idea for it looks like Brian DeBlank takes very minimal damage for being involved in as much of it as he did. Kind of gets ping-ponged around there and takes moderate damage, I assume. The other one we can watch here is the aid of Al Bunch. As you can see, there's really nowhere for him to go. As he starts slowing up, he gets collected and drops even further to the back here. The 24th, Ethan Creech comes flying in there. So Al Bunch still going, but the retirees will be John Brinker, Trevor Walker, Ethan Creech, Logan Nagy, Tyler Landa, Lynn Farrell, and Justin Patrick with Santi Messi, Riley Sorrell Tracy, and Bella Fawn. Amazingly enough, we still have 25 cars running, and current leader is Joshua Harrison, leading over Atlee Weiss and Lynn Farrell. Okay, so the 69 that is retired is Braden Hunt. Lynn Farrell is still running. They're doubling up, and you can only imagine that Atlee Weiss will probably get the jump here on Joshua Harrison. Double file restarts definitely gets things hairy, as we'll likely see another caution. More wrecks to come. Atlee Weiss leading them to the flag here. And it looks like Josh Harrison gets the better start here and fooled me twice. So evidently there's a little bit of progressive action going on here as the outside lane and the inside lane, it's a flip between them. You see Brian DeBlank still running back there in his one-off start. He will be running at least 4 Busch Series starts. This is one of only 4 for him this season. He is full-time in the trucks. Lynn Farrell to the lead with Jordan Walker close behind him. And I think you're going to start to see the cars that did get wound up in wrecks, the damage on their vehicles is going to slow them up a bit. We're probably going to see about 3 or 4 different packs of cars in a couple laps time. Jordan Walker and Taden Berggren, Lucas Holmes and Clarence Bonner on that inside line there. Easily, we've got 10 cars here all fighting for the win. There we got Lucas Holmes taking the lead now. The other NOS Energy car to the front. Luis Rodriguez there in the bottom lane, about to take the lead away from Lucas Holmes. A little bit of drafting help from Tom Courting. Craig Busch from dead last on the field to the front of the field. Could potentially be a special moment if he could have a good finish here after qualifying dead last. It's amazing how many vehicles were involved in that wreck, that there's still a bunch of them running good here. Adam Starr was involved in the wreck, although not very heavy damage. Seems that his car's alright, as well as Zach Armstrong and even Gavin Legend. Next group back, it looks like, might be within striking distance. They could kind of cooperate and draft back into the pack if they're coordinating enough here. Otherwise, they're probably going to lose that lead pack, and that's going to be our second group right here. Then your third group, and your fourth, at least one driver that's far off the pace there, 00 of Nathan Morgan. Nathan Morgan is it's gonna cost him a lot of points here this evening at Riki Raceway. Now we got the other NOS Energy car at the front again. This time it's Josh Harrison. So those two are flip-flopping back and forth, sharing the lead. One will take it and drop to the back, and the other one will surface back to the front again. So this is a prime opportunity for Fireball Robert there in the 79, with Al Bunch struggling and Nathan Morgan struggling. This could potentially give him the points lead early on in the season here. Atlee's won in the trucks this year and looking to potentially add a win in each category of the series. That would be an interesting stat to hold. A truck win, a Busch win, and a Cup win. Joe Gibbs has already relayed the news that they are going to keep him on as many races as they can. He's been able to get the 19 car into the top 35 in points. And the next race that those guys go to will be at Riki Raceway 2, actually. So we're going to see the Cup guys at Riki Raceway up next in the series. And Atlee will be on board for that one. Joe Gibbs has already said that they want to try to get him in as many races they can this year. The rules that are, you can't be full-time in Busch and Cup both. You can only commit full-time to Cup, or you can only commit full-time to Busch, but not both of them at the same time. Basically, all that means is any of these drivers could be still running a part-time schedule, all but a handful of races. Like, for example, the Joe Gibbs team will be able to run a couple races back-to-back, but will eventually have to pull their card for certain races that have a limited field. Some of your smaller non-marquee races will be without any part-time drivers. So, like, for example, after the Riki Raceway Kentucky, we won't see any part-timers. We will see part-timers at Daytona the following weeks. North Wilkesboro, Chicagoland. St. Pete will probably not have any part-timers, so it's kind of at a per-track basis, and that's up to basically the importance of each race. If it's a big market event, then part-timers will likely attempt it. Your teams will probably extend an offer and whatnot. But if you're looking at the schedule, just keep a rule of thumb that anything that says marquee event or crown jewel, even some of them that say traditional, those will be your races that will house part-timers along the full-time contenders of the Cup Series. Looks like the field is caught up to Nathan Morgan here, so we'll see what happens from this. Nathan Morgan's definitely struggling with the pace after the wreck that he got involved in. And just like that, everyone's kind of shuffling around him here. Going to shake up the running order a little bit and potentially cause some drivers to lose this lead draft. Zach Armstrong, it looks like he might be one of the last guys on this lead draft at the front here. Clarence Bonner could potentially get a strand of air in his favor to catch back up. Oofty, they're going 4 wide into this next turn. That ain't going to be good. Kellen Oakley thinks better of it. And we're slowly approaching the 1/3 mark of this race. The pace they set here at Riki Raceway is pretty rapid. The race name I did not mention earlier, but it is the Maple Syrup 300 at Riki Raceway. And yes, that is because we're racing in Canada, of course. A lot of new opportunities to get a new winner here in the Busch Series as Lucas Holmes, James King, Tom Cording, Atlee Weiss, and Kellen Oakley would all be a new candidate. Going even further back, James Robert, Lynn Farrell, and Zach Armstrong would also be new candidates to win. And you can't even count out Taden Berggren, who's still lingering in the back there. Or even Craig Busch in the 11, who's still striding there in the back. A lot of passes for the lead, a lot of back and forth action that we've seen so far. We've only had one wreck, one caution in the race, and that took out a big chunk of the competition. Actually, 2 cautions, my bad. The first caution was a 3-car wreck. The second caution involved multiple drivers that ended up retiring about 8 more drivers on top of those 3. James King and Lucas Holmes there fighting for the lead back and forth with each other. Kellen Oakley. Now we even got Jordan Walker in the picture here. Taden Berggren giving him a push. Taden Berggren gives up on that inside line, moving to the high line here. This could be dangerous. We'll see if it pays off for him. He's got to settle back down into the bottom lane here and perhaps is going to make a couple more moves to get a couple more positions. And things are looking hairy towards the back of this lead pack as they're 3 wide, 3 wide. And Jordan Walker led the lap that time by. Taden Berggren with the fastest lap in the race so far, so that's a big feat for him to pull off. Taden's definitely been one of those drivers struggling with his ride in the trucks and here in the Busch Series even. Perhaps the super speedways will be the equalizer and give some of these drivers an opportunity to flip the tables. Even, you know, like right here, Josh Harrison and Craig Busch, not often ones you see at the front leading laps, but here today, Riki Raceway, they're getting the job done. We still have a whole bunch. We got at least 10 people here within position to fight for the win. So yeah, 14 drivers within striking distance of the lead. And that's only half of the field that's left running at about 26 to 28 guys left. So unfortunately for Trevor Walker, who's not going to get to see the finish of this race, at least his brother Jordan Walker's out front doing good. Al Bunch Incorporated definitely took a hard hit when involved in that wreck and left out on the field. Al Bunch currently still out there running in 16th, so I mean even he could catch back up to the lead pack with a caution and maybe some help. Adam Starr here lost the lead draft. And you got Fireball Robert 3 wide in the midst of it there. Taden Bergeron on the outside, and he's going to have to lay off to keep from getting in a wreck. Lynn Farrell to the lead. So yeah, no, it kind of comes down to the, standard super speedway procedure here as we have a rotating conveyor belt. It's kind of just whoever's going to be leading at the last lap here. Whoever's got the right setup and makes the right moves, as there's no one that has certified any dominance amongst the rest. Everyone keeps sharing the lead with each other. We're going to have one of those 100 lead change races on our hands here. Doesn't mean any of these guys are one less bit deserving than the next guy. Someone's going to get a win today, and it's going to be a huge win for them. One that may not have come at any other opportunity in the season. So, and especially with some heavy hitters out early in this one, they'll be looking to get as many points as possible. Clarence Bonner, definitely one of the guys that has won in the series already, would be a continued winner if he's able to pull it off today. A bunch of these people, though, in the top 15 have not won a race in the series, and it would be their first win. at least in the Busch series. You know, you got Atlee Weiss there who has one in a truck. James King's won in a truck. But they have not won in the Busch series yet. And then we're going to have to start looking towards who might be the first ever driver that can get a win in all three series. There's a few drivers that have the truck, and most of them it's either trucks, Busch, or trucks and Busch, but not Cup since most of them haven't made it to Cup yet. Tristan Reams has a truck and Busch win, and he's worked his way into the Cup Series this year. Not a terrible start to the season, but not a spectacular start either. Tristan Reams would be one of them you might want to look out for to see if he could potentially get his first Cup win. And he would beat a couple other drivers to the punch pole. You still got drivers here like most of these guys that may not have even won in a truck series race yet either. So there's a lot that still needs to play out to get that 3 series winner. Pit stops are happening right now, and as you can see, it's pretty separate. There's a lot of separation between each pit stop. Most lead packs staying out an extra lap here. Likely going to see most of them come down pit road this time by. No, and you're still going to see another lap extension, so this is where things get tricky. As these drivers are stretching it longer, we'll have to see if these older tires, or perhaps the older tires mean nothing as they're in the draft here. And being in the draft for this long might give them the edge on the guys that pitted early. Another lap out there under green. Tom Cording with the lead. Clarence Bonner and then Lucas Holmes. Adam Gerber-Forian's actually a lap down, so the next person in line would be Taden Berggren and Fireball Robert. But they're staying out yet another lap, so I don't know how far they're going to push it here. One more drops off the pit as Tom Cording comes down pit road. And not often do you see strategies like this playing out at a super speedway. The drivers that pitted early must assume that they can make it the rest of the way, but I'm not even certain that's the case. I don't get the big separation here between the initial pit stops to this late into the run. As you can see, Clarence Bonner and Taden Berggren still staying out. This is going to hurt Clarence Bonner without any drafting help right now. The longer he stays out, the more he's going to lose from the drivers that do have a draft. Finally, we've got our leader coming down pit road. And I think we're going to have to see where everyone shuffles out now. Fireball Roberts still staying out there. And I don't know if maybe he took some gas and tires during that caution that he got spun out. We had some smoke there, and I don't know why. Oh, was it the 55 car? Tom Cording gets spun out on pit exit. He makes contact with the 18 there. 18 keeps it going. And that didn't bring out any cautions for us. And our new lead packs right here as it's the 18 of Josh Harrison leading the pack here. When they're trying to wreck, that was a close one with the 65 of Lucas Holmes. Clarence Bonner, all that time he stayed out, was able to maintain and stay with the lead group here. And your leader currently, Craig Busch, at about halfway. Just a little bit over halfway right now. Got two teal cars leading over the NOS blue and orange. Where once we had a 14 car fight for the win, it looks like we're down to 7 cars fighting for the win here. Craig Busch is most impressive as he had started dead last on the field. Still a lot of racing to go. And a lot can happen between here and lap 134. Luckily, we haven't seen any more cautions since that last one early on in the race. Atlee Weiss taking the lead here with the NOS teammates right behind him. It's looking like the teamwork making the dream work here for that NOS duo. Toyota Supra is out of the Todd Rat Racing stables. Then you got James King and Clarence Bonner. There's a bunch of Toyotas with a couple Chevys and a couple Fords. Actually, only one lone Ford and one lone Dodge. Surrounded by a whole flock of Toyotas. James King's got his Chevy out front leading over the Dodge Challenger of Clarence Bonner. Joshua Harrison there in his Toyota and Atlee Weiss in his Chevy. Yeah, we definitely got 7 cars left fighting for the win here today. Short of anything spectacular, it might not come any further back from 7th, the winner tonight. Getting around under 50 laps to go here at Riki Raceway. Still 7 cars in contention for the win here. They're the tightest they've ever been at the front of the field. Short of a caution, we might be able to get a couple more in the fight here, but without a caution, it's looking like it's going to be between these 7 drivers right here. We got a bunch of lap traffic that's going to play a factor here in a moment. Atlee fights back to the front here. We'll have to see who else is within striking range if this slows up the field significantly. Taden Berggren is 9.8 seconds back. Luis Rodriguez 9.9. James Fireball Robert 10.5. And then nothing for another 25 seconds back. So this lap traffic, if slow enough, could bring some of them back into the picture, but highly unlikely at this rate, as these guys will probably make and maneuver their way through this lap traffic in short order. as they get by all the lap traffic. Atlee Weiss out front leading. And we're under 40 laps to go with 39 laps left on the race. James King and Craig Busch following right there behind Atlee. Lap traffic has significantly slowed down the rest of the crew though, as it's in a 3-car breakaway at the front of the field here. I still feel like the huge story would be Craig Busch here if he's somehow able to pull off victory after starting dead last on the field. That would be a huge victory for anyone to pull it off. Even Atlee Weiss here in the lead would be a cool story, getting his first Busch Series win and looking to potentially put himself in the picture for a championship in the Busch Series here. Yeah, with the Cup guys that'll race tomorrow, this will be a fun one to watch for the Cup cars. 500 miles here at Riki Raceway, and it seems like, you know, if you keep them going green, the race goes by pretty quickly. They're running a 37-second lap on average here, 38. Compare that to some of your other super speedways, which are closer to 40, like 42 seconds, 45 seconds. These guys are definitely hauling the mail here, reaching top speeds of at least 215 miles an hour on track. Yeah, right there, 215. And with that, we only have 34 laps to go, so it's getting down to crunch time. And I think everyone made up their fuel mileage based on the pit strategies that they put together. I don't think we're going to see any more pit stops. I could be mistaken, but I think we're going to see them run the rest of the way here with what they've got. Bunch of new opportunities for new winners here. The only one not a new winner would likely be Clarence Bonner if he wins it. But absolutely everyone else in the top 7 would be a brand new winner for the series. Clarence Bonner leading. Lap traffic's going to give him a little bit of fits here as he gets suckered into that high groove, the 61, slowing him up. And Josh Harrison now leading with 30 laps to go. Lap traffic's intermingled here with the lead packer. And your next guy in contention is Jordan Walker there in second, with Lucas Holmes giving him a push. Those are your three fighting for the lead right now. James King and Atlee Weiss in the top 5. Someone like Atlee Weiss, this is probably their best opportunity, is to sit back in the weeds and watch from afar. Wait for your number one opportunity to pounce. Okay, and so we do have one final round of pit stops that I was not certain about, but Atlee Weiss is already pitted. And most likely all of our leaders are going to have to pit one more time. Even though they stretched it and stretched it and stretched it as far as they could on their last round of pit stops, I'm thinking it's going to come up just short for most of them. And honestly, Atlee Weiss on that earlier strategy might not be a bad deal. He can get out on fresher tires and make up more time than these guys that are out there running longer on the green flag run, burning their tires up and using their fuel. More takers down pit road as you got James King and Josh Harrison. And we got Atlee Weiss back out on track. We can try to keep an eye on him for a while and see what kind of trajectory this makes. The 10 cars coming off pit road. It looks like he might be able to beat Jordan Walker off pit road here. Yep, with ease. Lucas Holmes still out front leading in the meantime. And most surely he's going to have to make another pit stop before the end of this one. Got Clarence Bonner right there behind him. And that would be a fight for position. And they continue to stay out a little bit longer here. Clarence Bonner and Lucas Holmes switching the lead up here. A bunch of lap traffic surrounding them. Even lap traffic of Al Bunch is having to come down pit road while our leaders still manage to stay out longer than everyone else. We have 4 cars on the lead lap right now, so once things start to shake up, people should be able to get their laps back. And now our lead 2 are coming down pit road. This will signify the end of this green flag run for them. And just like that, we're going to have people getting back on the lead lap. And perhaps Craig Busch might be the one that's going to be in contention here. With 20 laps to go, we'll have to see where Craig Busch shuffles out in correlation to the leaders that just pitted. As they're coming out of turn 2, we're going to have to see on the inside if there's anyone coming out. Well, just like that, the 65 and the 99 pitted with the lead, and they're going to come right back out with the lead as they had such a sizable lead. They didn't lose much at all. Still 1 and 2. And what was once a 7-car fight, it's looking to be back down to about a 2-car fight in the final run here. It's a crying shame for likes of Atlee Weiss or Jordan Walker, and even Craig Busch at this rate, as they may not get back to the front to fight for this one. Craig Busch may likely be the closest with a shot, but times are running out if he wants another shot at winning it here today. We only have 16 laps to go, and it'll be 15 to go at the start-finish line. And Clarence Bonner, not a new time winner, but nonetheless would like to add more to his win regimen in the series. 14 laps to go, and we could potentially see a fight for the win between Clarence Bonner and Lucas Holmes. It's going to be one of those two guys, it looks like. As further back, we've got Craig Busch, who's actually dropped to 4th. James King up to 3rd. And the 18 truck of Josh Harrison, or car, not truck. So we're looking at it right here. The battle for the win is going to come down to these two guys. Perhaps as long as they don't wreck each other out. Lucas Holmes would be a brand new winner in the series, bringing home Todd Rat Racing a potential victory on the line. Craig Busch right there. Wow, that's the closest. So we might have a 4-car fight materializing in the closing laps as James King and Craig Busch have made moves to get back up to the front here. Never a dull moment in superspeedway racing. Those two have definitely hooked up and made the most of the drafting help that they could to get back to the front. Too far back would be the 18 of Josh Harrison, unfortunately. Man, even Al Bunch with a shitty race like this, he's sitting 10th, 1 lap down right now. And then there was 3. Craig Busch rejoins the party at the front of the field here, looking to get by both of them for the win. And even with only 10 laps to go, so this action materialized at the perfect time towards the end of the race here, as we've got 4 cars in striking distance of each other to pull off the victory. And if we have a caution, we could have a green-white checkers that would really mix things up. But I'm thinking that this race is going to go the rest of the way uninterrupted. No more cautions would be my guess. Oh, whoa, whoa. Just as I say that, the 64 of Mike Bliss Jr. gets a little bit out of hand there. Everything about this for Craig Busch is a hard-earned, well-fought battle all day here at Riki Raceway. With only 8 laps to go now, Things are getting a little bit tighter, and picture's starting to get much clearer who's going to pull it into victory lane today. Six laps to go, and lap traffic is actually hurt. The 99 of Clarence Bonner and the 65 of Lucas Holmes as Craig Busch drives around him. James King right there behind him. These two now fighting for the win. They're going to have to wait for that white flag. Craig Busch makes the best of that move as lap traffic slows down James King significantly. Atlee Weiss up to 5th. He's been able to get by the 18 of Josh Harrison. So a top 5 for Atlee, looking to be a good run. Craig Busch is just going to have to pull it off for 4 more laps here. And he would be the guy coming from dead last to the front of the field. Regardless of the turnout, how this race turns out, he cannot be upset about this run here today. It's going to be a great run for him regardless of how it finishes. Three laps to go. And Lucas Holmes definitely wants to try and get that win for his team. Now we're down to just a handful of laps left to go, as Lucas Holmes leads over Craig Busch and James King. Clarence Bonner has fallen off, missing the lead pack by a hair right now. It's going to be 2 laps to go at the line here. Craig Busch is stuck on the outside, needs to find a way onto the inside as soon as possible. Try and get back into the fight here with only a couple laps left to go. James King takes the lead away from Lucas Holmes. 69 of Lynn Farrell, that's a lap down car that's mixing it up with the leaders. Craig Busch finally finds his way back down onto the inside as the white flag will wave this time by. 1 more lap to go. Craig Busch has an opportunity here, and he could pull off from dead last to first. A last to victory lane is never an easy feat to pull off. The two of these cars going peeking on the inside of the leader. It's going to be 3 wide going into turn 3. Exiting turn 4, Lucas Holmes has the edge right now. And going down the front stretch, it's actually going to be Lucas Holmes taking home victory here at Riki Raceway. Craig Busch coming home second. Clarence Bonner coming home in 4th. Wait, Clarence Bonner was able to nudge out Craig Busch by a hair, apparently. Oh, he was in second. Okay. He made the moves up through the field. I forgot about him there. He was all the way at the back and came back up for a second. Craig Busch 3rd and James King 4th. Then we had Atlee Weiss with a solid top 5. Josh Harrison. Taden Berggren with a 7th. Luis Rodriguez with an 8th. Jordan Walker with a 9th. And none other than Al Bunch coming home 10th, albeit 1 lap down. So congratulations to Lucas Holmes in that number 65 Todd Rat Racing entry for getting his first win in the Sylvania Busch Series. Three races down, 20 more to go. And this is definitely just an appetizer for what the Cup race has to offer tomorrow, where we'll have 500 miles of Cup racing action at Riki Raceway. So, sadly, some of you guys didn't make to the end of this race. That's just super speedway racing in a nutshell. But congratulations to Lucas Holmes and even Craig Busch for a very big comeback finish at the end of the day. Coming from dead last to 3rd, that was a good run for him. So, yep, that's our 3rd race in the series, and on to the next one. Points will be tallied up in a couple days probably, and your earnings have already been kind of settled up, so every time we run a race, more earnings will be accumulated. But anyways, thanks again everyone for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the flip side.